Hello all. In this video, we are going to discuss a few previous year questions related to UGC NET home science subject. Now, UGC NET in home science, as you know, consists of many different units, including nutrition, textiles, apparel, human development, extension education, communication, like that. Multiple subjects are there. So today, we are going to discuss a few questions related to nutrition and dietetics unit. And these questions are from March 2023. That is, the exam actually is of December 2022, but the exam happened in the March 2023. And as you know, in home science, there are total 10 units. Out of the 10 units, 5 units are considered to be the most important ones, like your nutrition and dietetics, textiles, human development, resource management, and food science also. So these 5 units are considered to be the most important units, and mostly you get many questions from them. Like how we have segregation in paper 1, like every unit 5 questions will come. It's not like that when it comes to home science. These 5 major units will occupy most of the question paper. Like if you take in this particular session, total 15 questions out of 100 questions, 15 questions were asked from nutrition and dietetics topic. And out of these 15 questions, we are going to discuss a few in this session. Okay, let's start with the first question. So let me read the question first. Government of India declared the year 2018 as the National Year of Millets, okay, to promote millets for nutrition security and notified millets as. So in this question, they are asking what is the other name for millets? And in this, they have given an extra information also, that is the year 2018 in India, it was celebrated as National Year of Millets. Now, what are the options which are given here? They have given course cereals, cereals, novel cereals, and nutri-cereals. Now, one by one, we will see about each of these options, and I'll give you some time to have a good guess what the correct answer would be. All right. So option number A, which is given in the question, was course cereals. Actually, they have made a small mistake and they have given it as C-O-U-R-S-E, course. But there is actually a name called as course cereals, C-O-A-R-S-E-E. So these course cereals, it refers to those cereals which grows in very bad climatic conditions, like there is no much water, there is no much rain. In such places wherein the climate is not so suitable for doing proper agriculture, in such places, these course cereals can be grown. Basically, these are dry crops which can be grown with less amount of water. Now, what are the few examples which come under course cereals? Sorghum, ragi, barley, maize, and all the small millets can be categorized as course cereals. Now, this is option number A. Whereas, if you see option number B and option number C, we have cereals and novel cereals. Technically speaking, there is no separate category called as novel cereals per se, but you can call the products which are made new products, like any product that does not exist in the market, and a producer has newly formulated a product, then that product we can call them as a novel product. But there's no specific cereal which could be called as a novel cereal. I think cereals you all already you might know. Cereals and pulses are the most important food groups. Like 5 food groups are there, right? In we studied under dietetics. So out of the 5 major food groups, cereals is one of the most important food groups. Like rice, wheat, sorghum, all this is categorized to be cereals. And in a country like India, most of our calorie requirements, we actually get it from these cereals. Okay, if you take south, we get it from rice, whereas if you take north, you get it from wheat, like that. So in most of the world, the cereals, they function as your staple crops. All right, let's come to option number D. So in option number D, what was given? They had given the word millets, right? So this millets, they can also be called as nutri-cereals or dryland cereals. Actually, the word which was given in our option was nutri-cereals, right? So these nutri-cereals is nothing but dryland cereals or millets. Now, under millets, what are the different categories? What are the different types of millets which are there? So those categories, total 8 are there. Most important, actually, there are more than 8 types of millets which exist still now in cultivation in India. But the most important ones, if we see, are these ones, like your sorghum, pearl millet, like jawar, bajra, we say, no? So next, finger millet, little millet, foxtail millet, proso millet, like this, many different types of millets are there. And these millets, because of their high nutrient content and the capacity to grow in very bad geographical conditions, they are considered to be well suited for Indian climate and for Indian people. And they are also good sources of fiber, right? So I have given the Hindi names of these millets also in the brackets. So if you want to refer to them, you can refer as well. Now, coming to these millets, we have to keep in mind a few things because these can be asked in the upcoming sessions. Like this first thing, which was given in the question itself, that is the National Year of Millets. It was celebrated in India in the year 2018. Okay. Whereas in March 2021, Government of India, when we were represented at the United Nations General Assembly, we call it as UNGA, United Nations General Assembly. In that, they had passed a resolution which was supported by around 72 countries, 72 member countries of United Nations. What was the resolution on? They had passed a resolution telling that the International Year of Millets, that 2023 will be considered as the International Year of Millets. You can, in short form, you can call it as IYOM also, that is International Year of Millets. So if they ask you when was the National Year of Millets celebrated, it is 2018. If they ask when was the International Year of Millets celebrated, it is 2023. So don't get confused between these two. All right. So now I'll give you a bit of extra information also related to millets because in recent times we are having a lot of focus which is given by the government on millets because they are very well suited for Indian conditions, and also they are good revenue generating crops when it comes to even barren lands. Like you don't need that much of water, you don't need any specific fertility range to grow these millets. So that is why Indian government is putting a lot of stress on farmers to grow these types of millets. And of course, these were our traditional foods. Before this rice and before polishing of rice was a big deal. So we used to have these millets as a stable food. So now coming back, in the world, if you see, India is the largest producer of millets, of all types of millets. And inside India, if you see who is the top millet producing state, then the answer for that would be Rajasthan. Okay, Rajasthan is the most highest, like you can say like quantity wise, they produce the highest amount of millets. And among the different millets, I have shown you 8 different millets, right? So out of these 8 millets, if they ask you which one is the most hugely produced, majorly produced millet, then it is Bajra, right? And in India, there are several research institutes which do research related to food products, food packaging, etc. Like we have NIFTEM, we have mainly NIFTEM, which is there in Tanjore and in Sonipet. Like this different products, we have different research institutes. So related to millets, the Indian Institute of Millet Research, it is located at Hyderabad. Okay, so these are the extra information which I wanted to give you related to millets. Now let's go back to the question. Government of India declared the year 2018 as the National Year of Millets. Fine. To promote millets for nutrition security, also fine. And they have notified millets as what? That is the question they had asked. So yeah, definitely you have to comment. It's a very easy question. And interestingly, this question was repeated in this, actually we are discussing March 23 session, right? So the same question, but in a different way, it was repeated in June 2023 session. Okay. So can you put the answer for this question? What will be, whether it is A, B, C, D? Try, you can definitely get the right answer. Right. So what is the correct answer for this? Yes, it is nutri-cereals. Millets can be called as nutri-cereals also. And one more hint for you. If you see the My Plate, the Indian version of the My Plate is there, no? My Food Plate. So My Food Plate, if you check, there is a specific portion which has been allocated for nutri-cereals as well. Okay. Right. I told you, right, they had asked another question related to the same thing in June 2023 session. So this is the question that they had given. This sponsored by India and supported by many countries, United Nations General Assembly 9 adopted resolution declaring 2023 as what? Whether it is International Year of Pulses or International Year of Cereals or millets or legumes. Just now we saw the answer to this question. So what is the thing that you learn here? Always when you are studying PYQs, you just don't study the PYQ alone. You have to study the related content. Like you should consider the PYQ as the center point. And if it is the center point, if you can draw a circle around that question, what and all topics could be, what and all details could be covered around that point, those things you have to study. If you follow this particular technique, especially in the last few days of revision of whatever you are studying right now, it will help you to do a proper, especially when it comes to questions like wherein you don't know exactly, like you're not 100% sure of what is the correct answer is. In such places, to do a proper educated guess, this kind of details will be very useful for you. So coming back to our question, 2023 is considered as the International Year of Millets. On the same question, if they ask 2018, then it is National Year of Millets. So don't get confused between these two things. Okay. All right. So let's go back to the next question. First, weight cycling, whereby there is loss and gain of weight several times, is known as. They're asking, they have told what is weight cycling. So they are telling weight cycling is where a person loses and gains weight multiple times. And they're asking what is the other name for weight cycling. So let us have a look of the options. So option A is Lolo effect, then Popo effect, yo-yo effect, and Toto effect. This is the question wherein even if you don't have much of this subject related knowledge, if you are able to, if you know the word like no, Lolo, Popo, Toto, yo-yo, like this, if you know these, from this itself, you can do a proper guesswork. Let me tell you how you can do that guesswork. Right. So, but before that, one by one, we'll see the options. Okay. So option number A, if you check, it is written as Lolo. So this Lolo is actually a birth control pill. It is a birth control pill, can also be called as a contraceptive pill, right? So this contraceptive pill, usually contraceptive pills are combinations of hormones. Here it is a combination of estrogen and progesterone. Mostly all pills are combination pills only. And contraceptives, as the name says, it helps in preventing pregnancy. Okay. Now, what is option number B? It was written as Popo. There is nothing per se related to nutrition when it comes to the word Popo, so we are not going to see about that. Whereas option D, if you say, it is in toto. So what is in toto? Again, this doesn't have much meaning when it comes to nutrition, but the word in toto, it means in total or overall. Like if you want to refer to something, overall picture of something. So instead of saying overall, what we can say like that, instead of that, I can say in toto, like that, I can use the word, okay? But still doesn't have much meaning when it comes to nutrition. Now, let's come back to the yo-yo effect. This is option number C, which is given in an option. So this yo-yo effect is also called as weight cycling. This concept of weight cycling, it was defined by a scientist called as Kelly D. Brownell. This scientist, he defined this weight cycling as a cyclic loss and gain of weight. Like if you have ever seen a yo-yo, like can you see the image, GIF that I have attached? So the yo-yo is like a small playing tool which kids use to play. And there is a string attached to it and you can play using that. So it goes and comes, it goes and comes. So since the person is gaining and losing, like that the person is experiencing. Na? So because of that, this weight cycling is also called as yo-yo effect. Okay. So it's going, coming. The yo-yo is going, it is coming. It is going, it is coming. So person is losing weight, gaining weight, losing weight, gaining weight. So such a thing is called as yo-yo effect. Okay. I'll give you a live example for this. Can you guess who I'm showing right now on the screen? I guess most of you will know who he is. No offense to him, but to explain it better to you, I'm using this as a reference. So can you guess who this person is? Yeah. So this person is actually Anant Ambani. He's a kid of, the big Ambani family. So this is how he looked in the year 2013. And he made huge headlines in the year 2016 when he lost around 108 kgs of weight. He lost this 108 kgs in just 18 months. Okay. But then now if you see him, he looks again the same. He has lost weight, he has gained weight, again he has lost weight, gained weight, like that. Okay. So this is what we call it as yo-yo effect, or otherwise weight cycling. So I think you have got the concept. A person gains weight, loses weight, gains weight, loses weight, like that. Okay, let's come back to the question. Weight cycling, whereby there is loss and gain of weight several times, is known as what? That is the question. So I definitely know you all know the answer right now. So post it in the comment box. Yes, the answer for this is yo-yo effect. Yo-yo effect is also called as weight cycling. Okay, let us come back to the next question. According to NFHS 5% of children under 5 years who are stunted in India they are asking how many percentage of children who are below 5 years of age in India are stunted. And what, according to what data they are asking? They are asking according to NFHS 5 data. Okay, now let us see the options which are given. So is it 35.5? Is it 38.4? Is it 25.5 or 28.4? So these types of questions are completely memory-based questions. So to answer such types of questions, what you have to do is, you have to pick up the data sheet of NFHS 5, and out of that data sheet, you have to highlight the questions which are related to nutrition. That is, they can ask the percentage of anemia prevalence, they can ask you stunting, wasting, underweight, overweight, diabetes prevalence, toilet presence, they can ask. They can ask you how many percentage of houses have electricity access or clean water access, how many percentage of people use tobacco, how many have alcohol habits, like these things which are somewhat directly or indirectly related to nutrition can be asked for you. So you have to pick up the data sheet, and from the data sheet, you have to collect information. But before studying about the stunting percentage or, wasting percentage in India, we have to know what exactly this NFHS is. So that we will see here now. National Family Health Survey, or in other words, NFHS. So this National Family Health Survey, it is a large-scale survey which is conducted in multiple rounds across different places in India. It is a representative sample-based survey. That is, if you take a census, okay, in a census, all the people in a population must be accounted for. Like recently in 2011, 2021, a census should have happened, but because of, Corona, the pandemic, we couldn't do the census. The last census, if you check, it is in 2011. So census is wherein we gather details from all the people. But when it comes to NFHS, we don't do that. We don't collect information from all the people. We select just a representative sample of households. That is, for example, if you take a state, let's take a state like Tamil Nadu. So in Tamil Nadu, multiple districts are there, and in each district there are multiple, multiple places, multiple blocks, like that it is divided. So in each of the blocks, a few houses will be picked in, a representative way, so that we can kind of generalize the data we collect from that households. So this is a representative sample-based survey. This is a keyword here. And who conducts this survey? See, anything is happening, then it has to be conducted by someone. So it is the Ministry of Health and Family Welfare. And the nodal agency which is responsible for the data that is collected during this survey is International Institute for Population Sciences. It is located in Mumbai. Okay, so these are the details related to NFHS itself. And then coming back to what actually was asked in the question, we have to see about the different percentages of different types of undernutrition. But before that, in NFHS, this question can also be asked actually. If you see, NFHS is conducted year after year. The first NFHS, it was conducted in the year 1992 to 1993. Whereas second one in 98, 99, and then third in 2005, 2006. Between NFHS 3 and NFHS 4, there was a very huge gap. Like around 10 years of gap was there between these two. Then after that, the last one, recent NFHS survey, it is NFHS 5, which happened in the year 2020-21 time period. So this is what I told you, like you have to collect the NFHS 5 data sheet, and from that you have to collect information so that you can get key indicators of, all the different Indian states. But you don't have to study for all the states. You just have to see the details related to the nation. Like India as a whole, if you see the data, that's more than enough. And there will be so many indicators, you don't have to study all of them. When it comes to nutrition, if you can study the ones which are either directly or indirectly related to nutrition, that should be more than enough. All right. So now let us see the different types of malnutrition. So in the question, they had asked, what is the percent of children under 5 who are stunted? Now we have seen what is NFHS. We have seen how many rounds are there and etc. But then you have to know what is stunting also, right? Without knowing what is stunting, how can you answer this question? So that is why I have added the different types of malnutrition also over here. So basically, there are three different types of undernutrition. See, malnutrition is made up of two things, overnutrition and undernutrition both. Now, in this question, we are not going to discuss about overnutrition. We are concerned only with undernutrition. So under undernutrition, three different conditions could be seen. The first one is wasting. So in this, if you compare a wasted child to a normal kid who is healthy, this kid, the child who is getting affected by wasting, he will have a somewhat good height compared to the normal healthy child. But then he will not have that much of weight in his body. That is, he looks very thin, very malnourished, very thin. Whereas the second type of malnutrition is stunting, wherein the child does not grow properly in height. He will have less height for his particular age. Like the figure that I am showing you, it is comparing children of the same age. Okay. Now, a stunted child will be of less height compared to a healthy kid of the same age. Whereas if you take an underweight kid, for that particular age, he might be same height, or mostly he'll less height also, and he'll have a lesser weight also. That comes under your underweight. Okay. Now, these are the three different types of malnutrition, that is wasting, stunting, and underweight. In our question, what they had asked about the percentage of children under 5 who are stunted. So let us come back to that. Now, in the matter malnutrition, as I told you, the prevalence percentage, we have to study for many different things. And here I have given you the three types of malnutrition alone: stunting, wasting, underweight. So for stunting, what is the percentage? 35.5. This means in India, if you combine all the children who are under this 5 years of age, out of them, 35.5% of children are stunted. That is, they are low height for their age. This means if you take some 100 children, randomly, if you pick up 100 children, out of the 100 children, 35 children will be affected by stunting. That is what this data says. Next is wasting. Wasting percentage is around 19.3, whereas underweight is 32.1. Now, this time in this question, they had asked about stunting. Maybe next time they can ask you wasting. Maybe another time they can ask you underweight. So you have to be prepared in all the ways to answer questions related to this particular topic. Okay. Now, let us come back to our question. According to NFHS 5, % of children under 5 years who are stunted in India is how much? How much percentage? That was the question. Now, what is the answer? We just now saw it. So please put it in the comment box. At the end, I want all of you to give me how much marks you have get out of the total questions that we have discussed. Like say, for example, we discussed 5 questions. You have got 4 questions right. So you have to put 4 out of 5. If you got 3 right, just put 3 out of 5. Okay, so that it is not like you're just listening to me, but you're practicing also. Yes, and for this question, the answer is 35.5% of children in India are stunted. Now, let us come back to another question. Now, erythrocyte glutathione reductase, or otherwise EGR activation test, is the most accepted procedure for assessing the status of what? They have given multiple vitamin names. They are all B vitamins. So they have given thiamine, riboflavin, niacin, and pyridoxine. So they are asking, using this EGR test, which of the following vitamin status can be assessed? And as I always tell you, when you study a PYQ, you don't study just what is being asked in the PYQ. You study in and around the topic that they have spoken about. So if they have asked for one particular vitamin, you have to study for all the vitamins. It is as simple as that. Okay. Now let us see what are the biomarker which is used for different B vitamin status indication. Like if you want to know whether you have enough amounts of vitamin B1, say for example, vitamin B1 levels, if you want to know, we can use 2 different biomarkers. So the first one, you can say biomarkers or biochemical parameters also will be one of the ways to tell it. So thiamine, vitamin or otherwise vitamin B1, This can be used, this can be indicated, the status of this can be indicated by using erythrocyte transketolase activity. This transketolase is actually an enzyme. Whenever you see a word which is ending with ASE, then you can definitely conclude that they are speaking something related to an enzyme. Okay, so using erythrocyte transketolase activity or otherwise ETKA, you can find out B1. Or else you can use thiamine pyrophosphate effect also. This one is easy to remember because if you have studied vitamins topic, under that you will see that TPP, that is thiamine pyrophosphate, it is the coenzyme form of vitamin B1. So it's obvious now, like for a particular vitamin, if you want to know the status, you check the coenzyme form of that particular vitamin. So TPPE is quite easy, but this ETKA might be new for you, erythrocyte transketolase activity. Next is riboflavin, which is vitamin B2. To find out these levels, you can use erythrocyte enzyme glutathione reductase. Okay. Or you can even remove the word enzyme. So erythrocyte glutathione reductase. Using this enzyme levels, using this activation, you can find out the status of vitamin B2, EGR, erythrocyte glutathione reductase. Next is niacin, vitamin B3. For finding out niacin levels, you can use niacin index. So niacin index is basically, erythrocyte is nothing but RBC. I think all of you are quite aware. RBC is nothing but red blood cells, right? Red blood cells or red blood corpuscles. So this erythrocyte, how much NAD is present divided by erythrocyte NADP. So this NAD and NADP is nothing but the coenzyme forms of vitamin B3. If you have not studied already, please go through this topic once. Vitamin B, it has multiple coenzymes. Vitamin B complex, there are totally 8 vitamins included, and each of this vitamin has its own coenzyme form. So you have to be very clear of which vitamin has which coenzyme. Okay, so niacin index is calculated by putting erythrocyte NAD on top and divided by, in denominator, you have to put erythrocyte NADP. If the value is below 1, then it tells that you have niacin deficiency. Or otherwise, you can use RBC, that is erythrocyte NAD levels also. NAD expansion also I have given you, but these are quite simple things. This is the first thing that you will study when we study the vitamins topic. Nicotinamide adenine dinucleotide. If it is NADP, just the P is nothing but phosphate. Okay, to the same name, if you add phosphate, it is NADP. Okay, so if they ask you what is the most sensitive indicator for niacin status, then you have to say we have to measure NAD levels in the erythrocytes. Okay, next is pantothenic acid or vitamin B5. This is nothing to remember, nothing much to remember because you have to measure the vitamin directly. Pantothenate in WBC and RBC. WBC is nothing but what? White blood cells. Next is pyridoxine, vitamin B6. To measure directly measure about pyridoxine level, you can measure the coenzyme form of the vitamin, which is pyridoxal 5-phosphate, PLP. So PLP is actually the active coenzyme form of vitamin B6, or else you can use this functional biomarker also of this pyridoxine, which is erythrocyte transaminase activity. This transaminase is again another enzyme. So you can use this also, this erythrocyte transaminase activity as an indicator to find out about pyridoxine status. Now, coming back to other vitamins, vitamin B7 use to find out that you can either measure the biotin levels in urine or you can measure 3-hydroxyisovaleric acid levels also in urine. Otherwise, in the lymphocytes is also a type of WBC. So in the WBC, you can measure propionyl-CoA carboxylase. This vitamin B7, if you have studied the functions, many CoA related, this coenzyme A related enzymes, they will be included in the functions of biotin. Like biotin is essential for those CoAs to function properly. Next is folate, is vitamin B9. This vitamin B9 status, if you want to find out, obviously directly we can measure either in plasma or serum or in RBC, we can measure it. Or indirectly, if you want to know about vitamin B9 status, you can measure the homocysteine levels, total homocysteine levels in your plasma. What is this homocysteine now? This homocysteine is actually an amino acid, and high levels of homocysteine, please note down this point. high levels of homocysteine is considered to be an inflammation indicator. If you have high levels of homocysteine in your blood, then it tells you you have some form of inflammation which is affecting you. Okay, so total homocysteine levels also can tell you whether you have folate deficiency or not. Next is 𝙤𝙤𝙤𝙪𝙤 or vitamin B12. So this vitamin B12 levels also can be indicated by your total homocysteine. So this is an inverse relation. Like if you have high levels of homocysteine, it means you have vitamin B12 deficiency. Similarly, if you have high levels of homocysteine, it tells you that you have less amounts of vitamin B9. And vitamin B12, if you want to find out in the early stage itself, whether you have deficiency or not, then you can use this then you can use this MMA levels also. What is this MMA? Methylmalonic acid, MMA, okay? Methylmalonic acid serum levels if you test, that also can help you find out whether you have cyanocobalamin deficiency. That too in the very early stages, it can help you find. Next is vitamin C. Vitamin C is quite easy. You just measure the ascorbic acid level, L-ascorbic acid levels in your serum or in your plasma. Now, let us go back to our question. What was the question? They have asked, erythrocyte glutathione reductase activation test is the most accepted procedure for assessing the status of which? So, just now we have seen the answer for this question. Can anyone guess? Just as I told you, just put it in the comment box and tell me how many questions you have got it right. And for this question, I think it's quite obvious. The answer for this is riboflavin. So riboflavin is what is related to your EGR. So let's see the next question. So in this question, let's read the question first. ATP yield in moles from carbohydrates per mole glucose is how much? They're asking. So basically, they're asking how much energy yield is obtained from your glucose, that they're asking in ATP. Okay. Now, the options that are given here are 18, 28, 38, 48. Now, as I tell you always, you should not just study how much is obtained, how much ATP yield is obtained from glucose. You have to study for proteins also. You have to study for fat also. Right? Now, before that, you have to know about ATP and ADP. ATP, I think all of you might already know, adenosine triphosphate, which is considered as the unit for energy supply in humans and in a few other organisms, higher organisms also. Now, what is this ADP? Same thing, but then instead of the word tri, if we put di, adenosine diphosphate is ADP. So basically, when your ATP is broken down into ADP, okay, when ATP is broken down into ADP, there is release of energy. And this, how much energy is released, that also you have to know, because this can come as a direct question. So around 7.3 kilocalories of energy will be released when this breakdown happens. That is when an ATP is converted into ADP, 7.3 kilocalories of energy will be released. If they ask you the same thing in kilojoules, see, kilocalories and kilojoules, both are units of energy only, but they're just different units. 7.3 kilocalories is nothing but 30.5 kilojoules. So they can ask you in either way. If you take in India, we mostly use kilocalories, but in a few other places like around the Nordic countries and in British areas, they use this kilojoules as the unit of measurement. So either way, you have to keep them because they can ask both in the question. Okay, now this is what a question asked. They have asked the energy source. They had given the energy source to us and they have asked us the ATP yield. Now in this, there is a very important point that you have to remember. For glucose, if you see a few old books, like 10, 15-year-old books, if you see, they would have given that 38 ATP molecules can be obtained. But in new books, there had been a lot of controversy related to this, that, energy, this glycolysis process is not very efficient as initially we thought it to be. And they had reduced the, energy yield of ATP from FAD, NADH like that. And now in recent books and all, if you check, they tell that the energy yield which is obtained from glucose is actually both are correct answers to be true according to the reference. Very standard books also, if you use, they are actually true. but you have to be very careful when you answer this question. According to the options that are given to you, you have to answer. Okay, so you have to check whether they have given 38 or 30 in the question, and accordingly you have to answer. Mostly in this question also they had given 38 as the option, so you will be clicking 38 as the correct answer, but still be little bit updated on what is the actual ATP yield that we have according to recent scientific evidence. Next, if you take fat, in fat also there are multiple types of fatty acids which are present, right? So out of that, I have given you the value only for palmitic acid. There is a formula which you can use to calculate the energy yield, ATP yield for different types of fatty acids. But then you don't have, it is too in-depth, like it's that much biochemistry, we don't get questions. So you can just remember the value for palmitic acid alone. As you know, this fat is quite an energy dense molecule in general, right? So even 1 gram of fat, if you take, it gives you how many kilocalories? It gives around 9 kilocalories, right? So if you take fat, from that 1 per mole, if you see, it produces palmitic acid, okay? Not all, just the palmitic acid, it produces around 129 ATP, okay? Right. Now, coming back to our question, they had asked, what is the ATP yield from carbohydrates per mole glucose? So if you check the options, obviously, what is the answer? Yes, you are right. 38 should be the answer. But be careful, in case if they have given 30 also, it can be a correct answer according to new scientific evidence. Now, for June 2024 sessions, we have opened admissions at Professor Academy for the following subjects. If you want to take admissions in paper 1 or in paper 2 in the following subjects, you can give a call to the numbers which are given there on the screen for any admission related queries. And all the very best for the students who are writing December 2023 session. This session is going to be quite easy because, as you know, the exam has already happened 2 times already in this year. So the competition that might be there will be a little bit less. But nevertheless, we have prepared really well and we are going to get whatever we are dreaming for, whether it is NET or whether it is JRF, it is ours. So just believe that and spend the 3 hours that you have for the exam in a very effective way. And definitely you are getting your aim this time. And all the very best. We'll see in the next session.